Good day, brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining me today on episode 2 of The Ugly Truth Be Branded with the Lord. Today we're going to discuss one of God's daughters, one of my favorites. Her story I really enjoy reading, which is really strange because her story is very complicated, very complex, but I see more from her story. And all of God's stories, all of the our ancestors' stories within the Bible, it speaks love. Yes, there's pain, there's tears, there's sorrows, there's suffering, there's things that you couldn't even imagine happening to each person in the Bible, but at the end of the day, I still see love. There's love flowing in their stories. So today we're going to discuss Hagar. And for me, you can't discuss Hagar without Sarah, just like you can't discuss Sarah without Hagar. So, as we discussed in our last episode, we talked about Sarah and her situation that she found herself in and what was going on within our household. And Sarah was barren throughout her life, throughout her marriage, and all she wanted, all she dreamed was to be a mother and to conceive a child for her husband, Abraham. And this dream, this vision was aligned with God's will. But Sarah did not wait for God's timing. Sarah did not believe that what God had spoke over her womb, over her marriage, over her household would come to fruition. So she decided to take things into her own hands. And when she did that, we all know what happened. Just like when we take things into our own hands, um, it sometimes go left. It doesn't add up. It doesn't match what God has for us. And because of that, more shame, guilt, animosity, so much more came instead of joy and peace. So Sarah decided to persuade her husband to sleep with Hagar. And Hagar was an Egyptian slave. Hagar was a slave to Sarah and Abraham household livelihood. And because of that, manipulation was something that Sarah used against Hagar. Hagar was a, a tool, a tool used in Sarah's plans. Not something that God wanted for her, not something that God wanted for them, but Sarah wanted a baby so badly. She wanted to be valued within her household and her community. She wanted to feel confident as a wife, as a woman, as a mother. So she decided to take things into her own hands and have her husband sleep with Hagar. And in her mind, this was going to be her gift. This was going to be everything. This was going to be beautiful for her. And she wanted Hagar to conceive and for her to raise that baby as her own. But we all know that's not what happened. We all know what came with that decision, that choice. So let's discuss our sister, God's daughter, Hagar. So, as I stated, Hagar was a slave, an Egyptian slave. No rights in regards to her life, no opportunities for a better living than to be owned and used by others. So, Hagar, you want to read about Hagar? She's in the book of Genesis. You can focus on chapters 16 and also 21 to get a picture, a glimpse of what was going on in Hagar's life. And I wonder what Hagar said to Sarah and Abraham when the choice was made for her to be used as the vessel to bring forth a child for Sarah. Did she say no? Did she agree? Did she think her life would change? It would for the better? She would now be seen as an equal in that house? Was her confidence high? Or was it, didn't even exist? But we all know the way God wrote his words, the way he wanted us to envision what was going on. Hagar's voice was nowhere in that choice. And Sarah was, I would say, leading that house. Sarah had control over that household. Nowhere do I see Abraham, approaching his wife and saying, hey, no. God said, you and I, will conceive one day. He will make that happen for us. Let's wait on him. Let's be patient. Let's have a conversation with the Lord about this, about the way you're feeling, about what's going on inside of you. Let's talk about it. I don't read where Abraham challenged his wife in regards to her requests. But no judgment. As we're all aware, Abraham and Hagar slept together, and Hagar became pregnant. And you would think in that moment, this news would be seen as wonderful and joyous. And it would make a shift, a positive shift between Hagar, Abraham, and Sarah. But that didn't happen. It made their relationship, all three of their relationship, worse, detrimental. I can't even imagine what was going on in that house. To be a fly on the wall during those conversations, during Hagar being pregnant and what she had to endure. Because again, she was an Egyptian slave. An Egyptian slave. Did Hagar feel confident enough to know that she's about to be a mother and her whole life is going to change? Was she confident enough to know that in this community that she's now a part of, she would have the love and support? What was going on in her mind? What was happening around her? Did she throw her pregnancy in Sarah's face? Did she walk around as, I am the wife because I am carrying his first child? Regardless of everything that I just stated, we all know that that house was so heavy, heavy with sadness and burden and pain and torment, that while Hagar was pregnant, she ran. She ran. She said, no more. I can't do this. I don't want to bring my baby into this. I don't want to be here. This is not good for my baby and I. So she left. She ran away. And as I did my research and I read about Hagar and just tried to envision, not put myself in her situation, because Lord knows I'm not perfect and I've been through some things and I made choices and decisions in my life that was not pleasing to God at all. And it wasn't good for me, but he got me through it. And I wonder, when she ran, when she left that situation, that household, on her own, pregnant, did Abraham worry about her? Did Abraham go look for her? Was Abraham worried, distressed about, hey, where is, my baby mama? Where is the woman that is carrying my child, my firstborn? Where is she? Where did she go? Is she safe? Did something happen to her and my child? Nowhere do I see that. And I wonder about that. And I can just hope that in spite of everything that was going on, there was some compassion from Abraham in regards to Hagar. And Hagar ran. And she ran and she ran. She was like, I'm done. I can't do this. This is not healthy for me. This is not good for me and my baby. My baby does not need to endure what I'm going through. My baby does not need to be looked down upon. It's a baby. And remember, she was a slave. So as she ran into the wilderness, this is where she encountered our God. It states in Genesis 16 that Hagar ran and she was by a spring of water, resting, probably taking a sip of water, probably just praying to her many gods, because again, she was Egyptian. They believed in many, many gods. But it states that in that moment, whatever was happening to Hagar in that moment at the water, she encountered the angel of God. I love saying the angel of God. I love praying to the angel of God, because guess what? The angel of God is God. God himself came for Hagar. He ran to her side. He was by her side. And you feel it. You sense it in his words. God himself. God didn't send one of his many, many angels to be there for Hagar. God himself said, let me go to my baby real quick. Let me go to my child. God himself spoke to Hagar. God himself presented all of himself to Hagar in her pain. And what I love when I read about Hagar and God's encounter at the water, God called her by her name. God called her by her name. God didn't say, hey, child, hey, you, hey, slave. He said, Hagar. He knew who she was. What I love about reading those simple words right there, where it says God called her by her name. God knew her. God had his eyes on her. In every situation, in every moment, God knew what was to be and what was to come of Hagar. And he called her by her name. Again, that is so powerful for God to say, Hagar, Hagar. That just lets me know that no matter who we are, no matter the label that the world puts on us, no matter the label or the title we put on ourselves, God sees us and knows us by our name. He knows us individually. And he called her by her name. He said, Hagar, where have you come from and where are you going? Wow. Mind you, this is God. This is God. And I always envision, like, when God's talking to me, he comes down off of his throne because he knows he has to be face to face with me. He comes off of his throne, right? He comes down off of his throne and say, all right, I got to go be with my daughter right real quick. I got to go have a conversation with her. I got to go encourage her and uplift her and remind her who I am and who she is within me. I got to go remind her the love that I pour out on her, even though she's in that pit chilling with, with the enemy of her soul and all these, spirits of the flesh and all these things. And while she's in that pit, let me go get my baby out of that pit. Let me go remind her of my love. Let me go remind her I'm here. I'm with you. Let me go call her by her name. So when he called Hagar by her name, and when he said to her, Hagar, where have you come from and where are you going? He knew where she came from. He knew where she was going because he had his eyes on her the whole time. He was with her every step of the way. He was enduring with her in this circumstance. It was miserable. Miserable. That house wasn't filled with love. That house was filled with hate. Hate due to a person's decision outside of the Lord. And he said to her, where have you come from and where are you going? And what I love about that is he knew where she came from, but he wanted her to know he cared. Let's talk about this. Let's walk through this. Talk with me, conversate with me. He was building a relationship with Hagar. A relationship. And good or bad, he just wanted her to know he was with her and he sees her. So Hagar told God, like, I'm in this horrible situation. I'm a slave. These people are making my life a living hell. And also, I am pregnant. I am pregnant. And I need to leave. I can't be there. I can't live there. I can't be a part of this anymore. And if you read, God says to Hagar, go back. Whoa. So we're sitting here by this water and I'm pouring out my life to you and I'm pouring out my heart to you and I'm telling you the pain that I'm going through and I'm telling you I can't endure it anymore. And you state to me, go back. Imagine her mind at that moment. What thoughts was running through her head? What voices was speaking to her as God was speaking to her? Go back. God said, go back. Go back. Go back into that house filled with hate and anger and jealousy and envy and pure evil and sin. I can't. I don't want to. But when I read God saying to Hagar, go back, that was God reassuring her, I am with you. Nothing that they say or do can harm you or your baby. I'm with you. I got you. I'm with you in it, and I'm going to bring you through it. I love that. I love God letting us know in Hagar's story who he is, that he is God. So God said to Hagar, go back. Go back. I got you. You and your baby. And oh yeah, I'm going to name your child. God named Hagar's baby in front of her. His name is Ishmael. I am going to take care of you and Ishmael. I am going to prosper you. Yes, you are in a circumstance right now where you see no beginning, no middle, no end. You are just in this wilderness. You are in this darkness, this dark place of your life. But I am going to bring you through it, where you will see me and you will acknowledge my presence in your life. So Hagar goes back. Hagar obeys God. Mind you, she's Egyptian, and the living God, the one true God, is speaking to her. The one true God is having a conversation with her and letting her know that he sees her. And in that moment, you also see this relationship, this bond between Hagar and God, where she gives God a name. And I want to say she was the only person to do that, to give God a name. And she stated, you are the God who sees. Brothers and sisters, I love what she says to God. You are the God who sees. I find myself saying that to God. I could wake up in the middle of the night. Something could be on my mind or nothing at all, but just waking up in the middle of the night. And I find myself saying that either in my head or out loud. You are the God who sees. And I sometimes say, you are the God who sees me. When I, go to my bathroom window and I look out, mind you, it's in the middle of the night. I wake up like 1, 2 in the morning, and I go and I look out my window and I see a star. I envision that is God letting me know he sees me and that he's with me. So Hagar names and speaks this to the Lord. You are the God who sees. And God told her to go back. Go back to her circumstance. Go back to the situation that she's in with Sarah and Abraham. And go back. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of you and your baby. I got you. So she goes back and she gives birth to Ishmael. And it states that Abraham was 86 years old when Ishmael was born. So if you do the math, he was 86 when Ishmael, his firstborn son, was born. His son for Hagar was born. And he was 100 years old when Isaac, his son with Sarah, was born. And I do apologize. My little one is home today, but we got work to do. So just walk with me through this. So he was 100 when Isaac was born. His son was Sarah. And there was a 14-year age difference between Ishmael and Isaac. 14 years. So 14 years, Sarah and Hagar had to coexist in a very messy situation. 14 years. And I want to say between God stating to Abraham and Sarah, I'm going to make this possible for you all to be parents. You know, both of you will conceive. From when he made that promise to them and Isaac being born, that was 25 years. So I can't fathom the pain, the torment Sarah endured, but I know that that pain and torment that she endured for that length of period, she definitely took it out on Hagar, especially when Hagar got pregnant with Abraham's baby. So Sarah had to face, she couldn't run from her sins. She had to stare her torment. She had to stare that pain in her face every day for 14 years because Isaac didn't come until Ishmael was 14. And in Genesis 21, you would think after having a baby that love, compassion would be shown, that there would be another shift of something positive and loving and kind in that house. But in Genesis 21, you see where Sarah was not happy. Even with Isaac being born, she was so happy with Isaac being born, but she still saw Hagar and Ishmael as a threat within her home. And you see where the shift was for her to now have a confidence. Again, there's different types of confidence. There's the world's confidence and there's God's confidence. The world's confidence is very selfish, where God's confidence is selfless. So you see where she now has the confidence to approach her husband, Abraham, and say, hey, Isaac is here now, and he's the one true heir. He's the one true heir. And this woman and her child will not get anything. You need to kick her out. You need to send them away. They got to go. It's time. And when you read that, I definitely see where Abraham stood up in that moment, because you could see where it states that he was troubled by what his wife was now requesting. When I read that, I read Abraham saying, "This is my son as well, my true firstborn. I love him. What do you mean, send him away? I'm his father. I need to raise him. You're just going to have to deal with it." That's what I read. You're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to deal with them. I'm not sending away Ishmael, and I'm not sending away Hagar. And it stated that he was so troubled and distressed by the request of Sarah that he went to God. I love that God put that there. That Abraham went to God and said, "Here it is, Lord, all of it. I'm leaving it at your feet. I'm writing out my problems on your big toe. I'm leaving everything at your feet. I can't deal with this anymore. What should I do?" And it states that God gave Abraham the approval to let Hagar and Ishmael leave. He didn't budge because Sarah was jealous and envious and, you know, of Hagar. He budged in this circumstance, this new chapter, because God told him, it's okay. I got her. I got them. So God, again, knew Hagar by name. He knew everything that would take place in her life. And he made sure she knew he was with her every step of the way. So Abraham told Ishmael and Hagar to leave and gave them a few things to send them on their way. And as I sit here and my daughter is in the back being herself, she's in a safe haven, in a safe place where she can be herself. And as I sit here, I wonder, how did Ishmael feel? To now have to leave his home that he's known for 14 years, leave his father, leave his comfort, his safe haven, and go off into the unknown with his mother. I wonder if he asked his mother, "Why do I have to leave? Why do we have to leave?" Did he ask his dad, "Why do we have to leave?" Did he ask Sarah? Because again, he's innocent. He doesn't know what's going on. Why do I have to leave? But like I said, Hagar's story is one of my favorites. And throughout her story, I see his story. I see God's story. I see what he was writing in her life. Just like in my life, I see him because he sees me. God knows when I'm down. God knows when I'm in a good mood. My confidence is high. My confidence is medium. My confidence is low. He knows. He knows when I need to be an encouragement to someone. He knows when I need to be uplifting to someone. He knows. because he sees me. I am so thankful that he sees me. He is the God that sees me. I am so thankful that Jesus sees me because my name was on his heart and on his tongue as he was dying for my sins on the cross. I am so grateful that the Holy Spirit sees me. He knows when I need to be comforted. He knows when I need a boost of energy and strength. He knows when I'm weak. He knows what to say and speak for me when I can't. Because it hurts too bad. It hurts too much. So, yeah. Read about Hagar. I'm telling you, it's an eye-opener. It's a blessing. And I thank God that he wrote her story so we can see him in every chapter of her story. So the scripture I want to leave with you all today is Proverbs 3, verse 26. And it states, "For the Lord will be at your side and will keep your foot from being snared." When I read Proverbs 3, verse 26, I definitely see Hagar. I see Hagar's story in Proverbs 3:26. He's by her side. He's protecting her from everything and everyone. And her circumstance, it defines her, but it doesn't break her. So I speak Proverbs 3:26 over my house, over my children, over my marriage, my husband, over my relationship with the Lord. That no matter what I face day to day, no matter what I face in each month, each year, that I stay locked in and know that God is with me and he sees me at all times. The song I would like to leave with you all today, it's a beautiful song, and I want to leave with you all Glorious Day by Passion. Verses such as, "I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my tomb till I met you. You called my name, then I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day." Father, thank you for your glorious days. Even when the storms are upon us and we feel like we're drowning and we can't go on, you are right there. We don't have to fight. We don't have to struggle. We just have to be still and know that you are God. And you are the God who sees us. Thank you for joining me today, brothers and sisters. See you soon for the next episode.